All right, for some of you guys who were a little freaked out by construction 5, constructing a parallel line through a point not on a line, just because it was a little bit longer, a little bit messier, you'll like this one. This one's actually pretty short and sweet, and very similar, except instead of a parallel line, we're going to construct a perpendicular line from a point not on a line through the line itself. And this one is really kind of based around postulate 14, which tells us that if there is a line and a point not on the line, then there is exactly one line through the given point that is perpendicular to the given line. And so we see down here a point that's not on a line. And there are infinitely many lines that go through this point, infinitely many. The postulate 13, the one right before this one, told us that only one of them would be parallel, and of course that one would never intersect the line at all. The rest of them will intersect the line, okay, at different angles. This one would intersect way out here. This one might intersect kind of over here somewhere. All of these lines intersect the line somewhere, but only one of them, only one of these magical lines is going to be precisely perpendicular to the given line. Okay, and so that's the job of this construction, is to find that one line that the postulate here tells us about. There is a line. Okay, there is exactly one line that will be perpendicular through it. Okay, a line and a point not on a line, there is exactly one line that will be perpendicular through that line. So how could we find that magical line? Well, that's what this construction is all about. So what we're going to do to begin with is we're going to start at that point that they gave us, and we're going to arc down through the line. Or if the line's not below, you don't have to say arc down, you could say arc over or arc up or whatever. But we're going to arc through the line, so we need to get a wide enough distance to reach down, and then we're gonna make sure that we don't just hit it once. We're gonna make sure that we intersect it at two different spots. Okay, we want to intersect it at two different spots. And so there is our arc that created two intersection points, and that's what it wanted us to do, is create two intersection points. Okay, so now we're ready for step 2. From each of these two intersection points that you just constructed, create arcs onto the opposite side of the line. Technically, it doesn't have to be onto the opposite side. You could go back onto the same side, but it's usually just easier to go onto the other side, and because it ends up putting your points further apart from each other, you actually end up with a little bit more accuracy with the construction. But we're going to go on to the opposite side on this example. It's easiest to just use the same distance you just used. So we'd basically be making a mirror image of our point above down below. You could use, as it says, a different distance, but you just have to make sure that from each of these two intersection points, from each of those two intersection points, you have to make sure that you are using the same distance, okay, and that the distance is long enough to reach. I'm just going to use the same distance, like the directions suggest is pretty easy to do. So I'm going to pick it up, set it down, and make an arc. Whee! I'm going to flip her over so that I can go to the other intersection point, like that. And once again, come down and make an arc. And that creates a lovely mirror image point, basically, of the point above right there. And so you could probably guess what the third and final step of this construction is. Okay, we want to use our straight edge to connect the original point not on the line, that's the one above, to the new point you just created with these two arcs. This line that we're about to create here is going to be perpendicular to, and it's just a little bit off, so let me slide it over so I make sure I'm going through the point, right? This line is perpendicular to the line from the original problem. There you go. We know that this angle is 90 degrees, and this is the construction of a perpendicular line through a point, not on a line. Just as a little bit of reasoning about why this works, earlier in the semester we did a construction called the perpendicular bisector. We were given a line segment, and we were asked to find the perpendicular bisector of this line segment. And so we took the compass and we went to each of the endpoints, and we kind of made that nice long looping arc from each one, and then we went down through it. So in this case, we started the construction with the endpoints of the line segment. Well, and then we found these 2 points above and below. This was the second part. This construction just kind of reverses the order. We actually started with the point above. We used the compass to find, so this point's kind of like that. We used the compass to create a line segment. Our line segment would have, this length right here from point to point. That's our line segment. And so that would be these 2 points. And then once I have those 2 points, I can find that last point below. So it's kind of a very similar construction to a construction you did earlier in the semester. It just kind of does it in reverse order. But anyway, thanks for watching. That was the construction of a perpendicular line from a point not on a line through the line.